The Amazing Adventure of Agent Adams, A Matter of Legacy. Sarah Adams stood at the window of her advanced security office on the 42nd floor, gazing at the aircraft taking off from the nearby airport. Although she was already among the most respected agents at the International Cultural Heritage Protection Agency, ICHPA, her ambition drove her to aim higher. The afternoon sun cast long shadows across her desk, where an agenda for tomorrow's annual board meeting lay open. At 35, she had advanced through the ranks faster than any agent before her. Her colleagues often advised her to slow down, warning that her aggressive approach might affect her judgment. But Sarah couldn't afford to be complacent, not when she was responsible for protecting some of the world's most ancient treasures. The agency had changed dramatically since she joined 12 years ago. What began as a small organization had grown into a powerful international body, with agreements across multiple governments. Their latest advertising campaign, plastered across airports and airlines worldwide, highlighted their mission: preserving history, protecting legacy. The advertisements featured some of their most significant recoveries, though Sarah knew the most important work happened behind the scenes. As she reviewed security protocols for the upcoming exhibition, Treasures of the Ancient World, her computer screen flashed with an urgent alert. Sarah was amazed to discover that someone had altered the museum's primary security systems. The alarm didn't announce itself through the building's speakers. This was a silent notification, suggesting someone with inside knowledge was at work. "Not now," she muttered, feeling anxious as she pulled up the security feeds. The exhibition was set to open in 3 days, with artifacts worth billions already in place. They couldn't allow anything to compromise the show. The amount of preparation that had gone into this was staggering. Sarah opened her desk drawer and retrieved her service weapon. Although she wasn't afraid of confrontation, years of experience had taught her to be prepared for anything. The advantage of working late was that the building was almost empty, allowing her to move without drawing attention. As she hurried along the corridors, her mind analyzed the possibilities. The security breach affected multiple systems simultaneously, suggesting this wasn't the work of amateurs. Through the glass walls, she could see the massive advertising banners hanging in the atrium below. The agency's ambitious agenda for this exhibition included displaying pieces that had never before left their countries of origin. Her ankle, still tender from a chase last month, protested as she descended the stairs. The elevator would be faster, but also more predictable. She had learned long ago that alternative routes often provided tactical advantages. Reaching the exhibition floor, Sarah noticed something that made her blood run cold. The temperature control systems had been disabled. For ancient artifacts, rapid temperature changes could be catastrophic. She was annoyed at herself for not checking this sooner. Environmental controls were just as crucial as physical security. The exhibition hall stretched before her, a maze of glass cases and carefully controlled lighting. Her footsteps echoed off marble floors as she moved between displays of priceless treasures. The air felt different, heavier somehow. She could almost taste the subtle change in humidity. A noise from the Egyptian section caught her attention. As she approached, she heard angry voices arguing in hushed tones. Sarah pressed herself against a wall, straining to listen. The agreement was for all of them, a male voice hissed. "We can't afford to leave any traces." But the alarm, a second voice started. "As handled," the first voice cut in. "Now help me with this case." Sarah had to agree that their timing was clever. The annual exhibition always brought increased media attention, and a theft now would generate massive publicity. The affair would damage not just the agency's reputation but international cultural relations as well. Drawing her weapon, Sarah announced her presence. "Step away from the display." The intruders spun around, and Sarah found herself face to face with Dr. Marcus Chen, the agency's own head of authentication, and someone she didn't recognize. The stranger held what appeared to be an alcoholic beverage in a flask, his unsteady movements suggesting he'd been drinking. "Agent Adams," Chen said smoothly, though she could see the tension in his shoulders. "You're here rather late." "I could say the same." Sarah kept her weapon trained on them. "Step back from the artifacts." "You don't understand what you're involving yourself in," Chen replied. "These pieces, they're not what everyone thinks." The stranger looked increasingly anxious, taking another drink from his flask. Sarah noticed he held something else, an album of some sort, filled with what appeared to be photographs. "Put it down," she ordered. "Both of you, hands where I can see them." Instead, Chen lunged for the nearest display case. Sarah fired a warning shot into the air, the sound echoing dramatically through the exhibition hall. The drunk stranger dropped his album, spilling photographs across the floor. To Sarah's amazement, they appeared to be detailed images of the exhibition pieces, but something was off about them. Security finally arrived, responding to the gunshot. As they handcuffed Chen and his accomplice, Sarah examined the scattered photographs. They showed the same artifacts currently on display, but at different stages of creation. They weren't ancient at all. They were forgeries, incredibly advanced ones, but forgeries nonetheless. The investigation that followed revealed a scheme that almost defied belief. Chen had been running a sophisticated operation for years, gradually replacing genuine artifacts with nearly perfect replicas. The real pieces were sold to private collectors, while museums and governments remained unaware they were displaying fakes. The alcoholic stranger turned out to be a former conservation expert who'd helped perfect the aging techniques. The affair affected museums worldwide. Sarah spent weeks helping to analyze which pieces were genuine and which were forgeries. The amount of work involved was staggering, but she couldn't afford to make any mistakes. Every piece had to be authenticated, every document examined, every agreement scrutinized. 6 months later, Sarah stood at the podium during a press conference. The agency had decided to be transparent about what had happened, though the announcement had been carefully crafted. She felt a mixture of pride and anxiety as she faced the assembled journalists. "Good afternoon," she began. "Today marks an important anniversary in the fight against cultural heritage crime. Through the dedicated work of our agents and international partners, we have recovered over 300 authentic artifacts that had been illegally replaced with forgeries." The story dominated headlines for weeks. Rather than damaging the agency's reputation, their handling of the crisis and commitment to transparency earned them widespread praise. Sarah's role in uncovering the scheme advanced her career significantly. She was promoted to head of a new authentication task force, though some colleagues advised her to consider a less dangerous position. Among her new responsibilities was developing more advanced security protocols. She aimed to make sure nothing like this could happen again. The ambitious project involved cooperation between multiple agencies, updating agreement terms with partner institutions, and implementing new authentication technologies. 1 year later, Sarah stood in the same exhibition hall, now transformed for a new show. Authentication. Science Meets History. Display cases showed pairs of artifacts, genuine pieces alongside their nearly perfect forgeries, teaching visitors about the importance of cultural heritage protection. As she watched families and school groups move through the exhibition, Sarah reflected on how things had changed. The agency's advertising now emphasized transparency and authentication as much as protection. They had turned a potential disaster into an opportunity to educate the public about the complexities of preservation. Her ankle had finally healed completely, though she still preferred taking the stairs. Old habits died hard. She wasn't afraid of facing new challenges. If anything, the experience had made her more determined. There would always be people trying to exploit cultural heritage for profit, but there would also always be those working to protect it. That evening, as she prepared to leave her office, a new alert flashed across her screen. Sarah couldn't help but smile as she reached for her weapon. There would always be another case, another mystery, another adventure. But now she knew that every challenge presented an opportunity not just to protect history, but to learn from it. Looking ahead to whatever came next, Sarah felt ready. She had learned that being an effective agent meant more than just catching criminals. It meant understanding why people valued cultural heritage in the first place. It meant recognizing that every artifact told a story, and those stories were worth protecting. As she headed out to investigate the new alert, Sarah remembered something her first mentor had told her. Our job isn't just to protect objects from the past. It's to make sure those objects can continue telling their stories to future generations. It was advice she had never forgotten, and it had never felt more relevant than now. The sun had set, casting the exhibition hall in dramatic shadows. Sarah moved quietly through the displays, her senses alert for anything unusual. She didn't know what she would find this time, but she was certain of one thing. Whatever happened, it would be another chance to make a difference in the ongoing fight to protect humanity's shared cultural heritage. And really, she thought with a smile, she wouldn't have it any other way. After all, in her line of work, there was no such thing as an ordinary day at the office. Each morning brought new challenges, new mysteries, and new opportunities to prove that one person really could make a difference in preserving history for future generations. As she rounded the corner toward the source of the alert, Sarah Adams, senior agent of the International Cultural Heritage Protection Agency, felt that familiar surge of excitement. Another case was beginning, and she was ready to face whatever came next. Because that's what she did. She protected history, one artifact, one day, one adventure at a time. Here's a recap of 100 key vocabulary words. 1 to 20. General action and movement. Advanced, moved forward in rank or position. Gazing, looking intently at something. Cast, through or projected, e.g., shadows, retrieving, getting something back. Hurrying, moving quickly. Protested, objected or showed discomfort. Descending, going downward. Approached, moved closer. Pressed, leaned or pushed against. Announced, made something publicly known. Spun, turned around quickly. Lunged, moved forward suddenly. Fired, shot a weapon. Dropped, let something fall. Examined, looked at closely. Handled, took care of or managed. Scattered, spread in different directions. Analyzed, studied carefully. Implemented, put into action. Transformed, changed significantly. 21 to 40. Crime and investigation. Forgery, a fake version of something valuable. Breach, a security violation. Accomplice, someone helping in a crime. Authentication, verifying if something is real. Replica, a close copy of an original. Altered, change. Revealed, made known. Scheme, a secret plan, often illegal, tampered, interfered with something improperly. Illegal, against the law. Smuggling, secretly transporting illegal goods. Conspiracy, a secret plan to commit a crime. Undercover, working in secret to investigate. Corruption, dishonest behavior, especially in power. Deception, the act of lying or tricking. Evidence, proof of something. Surveillance, close observation of a suspect. Infiltrated, secretly entered an organization. Confession, admitting to a crime. Bribery, giving money for dishonest favors. 41 to 60. Security and protection. Protocol, official procedure or system. Headquarters, main office of an organization. Patrol, regularly checking an area for security. Alert, a warning or notification. Restricted, limited access. Interrogation, questioning a suspect. Surveillance, close monitoring. Encryption, securing data so it's unreadable. Detection, discovering something hidden. Espionage, spying to obtain secrets. Confidential, private and secret information. Hack, gaining unauthorized access to a system. Firewall, security system for data protection. Tamper-proof, difficult to alter or damage. Biometric, security using unique body features. Camouflage, hiding by blending in. Counterfeit, fake, made to look real. Disguise, changing appearance to hide identity. Backup, extra security in case of failure. Evacuation, removing people from danger. 61 to 80. Leadership and career. Colleague, a coworker. Ambition, strong desire to succeed. Promotion, advancing to a higher position. Task force, a team assigned to a specific goal. Negotiation, discussion to reach an agreement. Authority, power to make decisions. Responsibility, a duty or obligation. Strategic, planned carefully for success. Delegation, assigning tasks to others. Efficiency, doing work effectively. Mentor, an experienced advisor. Initiative, taking action without being told. Proposal, a formal plan or suggestion. Transparency, openness and honesty. Diplomatic, handling situations smoothly. Influence, the ability to affect others. Presentation, a formal speech or demonstration. Evaluation, assessing the quality of something. Collaboration, working together with others. Leadership, guiding and directing a team. 81 to 100. History and artifacts. Artifact, an object from the past. Ancient, very old. Preservation, protecting something from harm. Legacy, something valuable passed down from the past. Cultural, related to traditions and heritage. Heritage, important historical traditions or objects. Restoration, repairing something old. Excavation, digging up historical artifacts. Museum, a place displaying historical objects. Exhibition, a public display of objects. Historical, related to past events. Chronology, the order of past events. Provenance, the history of an artifact's origin. Documentation, written records. Curator, a museum expert who manages artifacts. Authentication, proving an object is real. Forgery, a fake version of something valuable. Conservation, protecting something from damage. Archaeology, the study of past civilizations. Symbolism, using objects to represent ideas.